Now then, welcome back to another episode of Hypermine Infinity Evolved. Can you guess what time of year it is when I'm recording this? Yes, it's very, very close to that holiday season that everybody loves so much because of all the turkey. I've got my turkey. Have you got yours? Everybody got it? Yep, right. It's that holiday Christmas. Christmas is that special time of year. And we all get together as family and get together and eat lots and lots and lots of things. Yes. And give presents and thanks to things if you're religious as well. But mostly people around the world retailing. Retailing frenzy, everybody. Retailing frenzy to get presents and gifts for everybody else. Well, I'm doing none of that. Right here, right now. That is it. Now we're back onto actually playing some Minecraft. I've had this place sorted out a little further. I put some glowstone on these item ducts, so I can still see items travelling through them very, very limitedly, but I can still see items passing through. It looks kind of cool, and it's got a kind of a golden glow about it, which I kind of like. There's been mention about changing this as well, and don't worry, I'm getting around to it. I'm changing the place up bit by bit as I go. And one of the first things that strikes me is that is quite a cool look. Okay, so there's something over here that we're dealing with today that doesn't have one of the key items, which is the golden chest. So that's like the first thing that I want to address is the golden chest that I want to put in. So I'm going to put that in there instead and take this off here. Claim that back. And I'm going to find myself a golden chest, because I think I need it. There's another couple of little bits and pieces that I want to do as well. I think I've got a chest already in here. Yep, here's one I prepared earlier, folks. So the whole golden chest on the top, running into an AE system, is going to be okay. That is a decent sized storage, and we are virtually going to instantaneously transfer things across. So if I've got some of these item translocators, yes, I have item translocators once again. Awesome, I am prepared. There we go. I'm probably not prepared for everything, but I am prepared for that. So now, anything that arrives in the chest will get pushed into the AE system below. The idea of this setup, this is kind of the core of the setup I've got started so far, and lots of changes are going to need to be made before we finish this episode, because there's going to be lots of things that don't quite fit in this tiny little space. I don't have a lot of space, and I've got machines to power and AE system to thread through at the same time. I might be better off using Ender IO, because they've got conducts that can you can put power and item transfer in and out and all sorts. But I want to try and not use the Ender IO right now, right this minute. So the fundamentals of this particular setup, okay, it's an isolated, on its own, applied energistic system. It's got a power supply down there, which powers the controller. The controller then has some cables coming out of the top, and it's going to have cables coming out of the sides as well. I've basically got 32 channels on each side, and I've got 5 sides available for pulling those channels out of. I don't think I'm going to be able to use all 5 sides, because 2 of them go into the wall back there. And the upper one seems to be used already. But anyway, let's carry on. I'll move things around as I need to, that's what I'm saying. This is just the fundamental basics here to show you. So, all the items that don't get processed in the first section and the second section come through over here and get put into the applied energistic system. Asop is getting back to me. The applied energistic system then has that stock. And anything that it will not accept as stock, it will go into this storage bus. And this storage bus will then put everything into this chest, which really should be a gold chest, but it's still a diamond chest right now. And it's kind of the opposite over here. I want to change that to a gold chest as well, and then change these up to those impulse ducts as well, so the things travel fast over to the next section, the final section in this processing. But this means that the applied energistic system has a single disk, and that single disk is in here, in this chest. If it cannot go onto this disk, then it will go into this chest. That's a fundamental part of the system, okay? So everything that I want to stay in this part of the system has to be allocated to this chest. At the moment, we're running with all the ores that I've got that need processing. And we're also getting excess saplings and raw rubber and nether quartz and things that, because these chests over here have a void limit, they tend to fill up, and then the excess stock gets sent from that chest to the next chest, skipping this altogether as an invalid location for it. Most of the time, though, it will try and put it in there, but there's occasions when it goes from being something missing to being full to receiving items. Sometimes the items end up going in this way and carry on over. So the first thing I did was I sent all the wood back. So this is set on the processing input, which is right back over there. Processing input, items in, comes in there. So the first thing I did was I set this up to export wood, so that wood would go back to the start and try and enter the system again. Kind of a little loop, return to 1. If received, go to 1. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that now, though. I've got something else in mind for this kind of thing, so we'll see what that does in a bit. There are some key core components. I've got 2 redstone furnaces and 2 pulverizers with a few upgrades for the redstone furnaces, and I've also got some interfaces that I want to use and some export buses to put stuff into these furnaces. Now, I haven't really decided which side to start on, so I guess I'm going to start on the first side and do the most simple stuff to start off with. Because I've got power at the bottom, I need to bring power to the machines. I'm going to have to put something kind of like a pulverizer with a furnace, and then put an interface on top of that for the output. So once again, this will get connected up to the AE system here, and we'll go pulverizer will have items coming into it somewhere, presumably underneath. So I'm going to have to dig underneath and put cables coming down from there and come underneath all the machines here, which isn't too much of an issue. I can do that soon. And then we're going to output at the top, and we're going to output everything up, I feel, even secondary resources. There is another upgrade that I've got opportunity to do in here, which could remove the secondary output altogether. But in some cases, I'm going to want the secondary output, so I'll leave that on there for now. This is still just a work in progress. I can do some fine-tuning and tweaking later. And then the output from the furnace will go up into the interface and back into the AE system. If there's not a location on this disk for it, then it will go into that chest and pass on to the next area. Now, this chest is literally got all of this stuff in at the minute. And if I take this disk and go and put it over here into the cell workbench, I can set it so that it will have partition storage. This is configures partition based on the current stored items. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these things off. And that is now the only items that part of the system will accept. And anything else will get expelled from the system and put into that storage container there, which will then, of course, get put over to that storage system over there. It will all make sense. It's kind of got a logical pattern to it. So let's take all the raw rubber out of there, and all of these saplings out as well. I could probably just go oak. That'll be quicker. And just get rid of all the saplings. There we go. And so now the only things that will go into this system are the things that I've set. So I'm trying to put everything into there now, and nothing will go into that disk drive because I've partitioned it to only allow those types of things in there. Now there may be other ores that come into the system a bit later on, and all I do there is just take the disk out, put it back in the cell workbench, and add to that list of partition what needs to be stored in this chest. Nothing else will be stored in that chest, so everything else will go into there. So if I put this stuff in there now, you'll see that it's disappearing out of the chest very quickly because it's been translocated into the AE system, but instead of going into the chest over here, which it's no longer able to add to that, it's now heading over to this chest over here and being put in there as quickly as it comes into the system, because that's the only other storage location. There's a disk and there's a chest. They're the only storage locations on the system here. So we'll instantly be moved over here and then whiz through and over and into that part of the system, which is also an AE system for now, but I will change that around a little bit as well. I've got some plans for that. So this is my core setup idea, right? And the next thing that I need to do is power these machines. And I also need to figure a way of inserting items into this setup as well. So I'm really getting myself very limited on space, haven't I? There's other potential, right? Another potential could be that I set it up across the ways. So let's see about doing it this way round. We'll have a pulverizer there. That does mean that I'm not going to be able to access that disk, but I can always change this around so that I've got access to the drive slot like that and undo it and all that kind of stuff. But for now, I got to put it all back again now. For now, that'll do, and I keep it on the side there so I can see it. So we'll have the pulverizer, and we'll have a redstone furnace, and then we will have an interface on the top of it there, and we'll have an interface here with another redstone furnace next to it here, and the other pulverizer there. And we'll set that up slightly different to my original plan, and we'll have the input at the back, we'll have the output to the side, and so everything will go this way, and then this one can have the input from there and the output up the top. And I'll do the same over this way, but obviously the reverse, so input at the back and output to the side, and then this one's input on the side and output on the top into the interface, which will take it into the AE system. Okay, and then we just give it some power, which I only really need to do leadstone flux, because I don't think I'm going to need to do too much of that whatsoever. So there we go. So that's that setup. I just need to cover that with some panels, and that would work. The other thing is I need to connect that interface, but then I was going to have to do that anyway, so I'll connect that up there. And then I've got to put the inputs or the exports from the AE system. So we're going to export buses. I've got 4 export buses on me. There we go. So I'm going to put an export bus on there, and I'm going to put an export bus on there. Now the issues I get is that this is far too tight for me to work around and walk around and do things around. So I'm going to take out a little bit of the wall here, just so I can get around to it for now, and add in the items, because at the minute there's only one single slot, and we need to upgrade those in order to make it more than one single slot. And yeah, that's the next stage. So we're going to head over to Silicon Valley. Alrighty, so over here at the AE system, I want to make some of these advanced cards, right? They add into buses like import and export and storage buses, various devices to add functionality to them. First of all, though, I need to make the advanced card recipe and get that sorted out so that we can auto-craft these things. Also, the basic card recipe, which also goes in there, which is nice. And then one of the most frequently used ones is possibly the acceleration card. Don't know which one I'm going to put these in, actually. They're all full. That's all full. That's nearly full, so I'll just put those 2 in there for now. Looks like I'm going to need to do another little crafting section. And I've got 2 slots left in there. Okay, well, I'm running out of crafting slots, but we'll get there. Okay, so those first 2, let's craft one of those, start, and one of those, start, so that we've got them in there for when we doing the patterns for the next things. Right, the things that I need is the capacity crafting, fuzzy sometimes, inverted sometimes, redstone not very often, and acceleration. So I only really need the capacity, I suppose. So let's do the capacity card. Let's get one of those. and I'll actually take one of those as well. 2 of those, actually, because they're the ones that I'm going to be putting into the backs of the pulverizers. Yes. And then we want the speed upgrade, that one, which is slightly different, but we'll take that as well. And I don't think I need a speed upgrade right now, but it'll be nice to have it on autocraft so I can get it when I want it. So let's put those into... Was it this one that had spares? Yeah, those got 2 spare slots there. There we go. So I've got 2 capacity cards, which is what I really need for this part of the episode. And if I need some more, I'll come over and I'll just auto-craft them quickly. Okay, so what we got over here is these export buses. If I give them a capacity card upgrade over here, they give me a few extra slots. A second capacity card will give me 9 slots in total, which is nice. But I'm just going for the first one, so I'll make another couple of these a bit later on and get those set up to auto grill. I was going to say, I've just had a word in the extended episode over on the supporters channel, and those viewers will know exactly why I've just made a little cooking mistake instead of a pulverizing. Instead of saying pulverizing, I said grilling, but never mind. Okay, so the first basic things that we want. There is the yellowite ore. The yellowite ore is processable in many different ways, but I only really need to turn it quickly into ingots. There's ore doubling and ore tripling. To pulverize, I'm ore doubling, and with IC2, I'm ore tripling. But at the minute, I'm just going to stick with thermal expansion doubling. Iron doesn't really have anything special about it. Lead, I don't think has any special things about it that I want yet. Silver, again, nothing special. Tin, again, nothing special. Copper, again, another one. The aluminium, yeah, we'll throw that in as well. The cinnabar, I've got a special task for that because we need to turn that into cryothium. And the uranium, I'm just not going to touch yet. And the gold, I normally use the gold to get cinnabar. But that cinnabar is going to get cinnabar instead now. So I may as well just process gold automatically as it comes in. Now the next thing that I want to check out is what nether ores match with those. So I can kind of put them all in the same places. So we've got copper ore from the nether as well. Yeah. Nether iron ore, we'll throw that in as well there. Redstone ore, coal ore, tin ore. We had tin over there. Amber ore, salt ore, cobalt ore, ardite ore, ferrous ore. Ferrous is another one. Ferrous I use to get shiny ingots. So I've got to do a different process for ferrous. So I'm not going to put that through this particular processing method. Silver ore, that would go in there. And saltpeter, sapphire, emerald, lead, that goes in there. So I've got quite a bit of everything so far. Yeah, I guess that's everything. I haven't got any yellowite or aluminium in the nether ores, but that goes, I guess, because that's big reactors and that's Tinker's Construct, whereas the rest is either Thermal Foundation or Minecraft. So we've got quite a few to start off with, at least, right? So let's think about it. We get the most of, like, iron, I should say. So let's put iron in this one here, and on the opposite side, we'll put the iron from the nether. Just because, right? And then we will go with lead from the nether. Actually, let's do it a different way around. Let's go with normal lead ore. Then we'll go with silver from the nether. Then we'll go with tin ore. Then we'll go with copper from the nether. So this is doing tin and lead, which generally you get a fair bit of. Normally with the silver as well, but that'll do for that side. And then on this side, we are going the opposite way around. So we've got that iron. We'll go with the lead from the nether. We'll go from the silver. We'll go with the tin from the nether. I think I did that the right way around. And we'll go with copper straight up. We're not getting gold and aluminium in there yet, but once I've done another capacity card, that'll go in properly. So in theory, that's a good start, right? So I'll put that into there. Right, so if I put these back in here now, I will sort this out properly later. I will go over it a bit more thoroughly later, shall I say. and fine-tune it and all that. But I just want to show you what's happening during this episode so you know the basics of what I'm doing here. And we may as well bring that here, I guess. There we go. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so now we should see that they've already started lighting up. So this is now processing the silver ore. It will become silver pulverized, which will go into the furnace, get cooked, and then go up into the interface. And instead of going in here, this will just run all of these things down, and the actual processed ores will start heading out that way. So actually the dust, yeah, the bars are actually going that way. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So ingots, if we have a look at the ingots now, we should see that some ingots are gaining in number. Yeah. Silver ingots from thermal expansion, thermal foundation are going up. I've been using this so far because I've been doing everything in tinkers. But now this is going up fairly quickly. There we go. And whatever the other processing is at the time will also do that. And this will take some time, but it will get through the backlog of, well, 20 of these types of ores, because on the back there I can put, was it 9? Actually, so it'll be 18. There'll be 18 types of ore auto-processed from here. But that won't change the ability for this chest to only hold those things as they're coming into the system. And that is the basics of my processing system. I've got to put some more advanced processing in this section here to do some more work, but that's it for that bit. And now we just got to kind of leave it to it and hope for the best. I think these secondary outputs, if I make sure that I only put things into the pulverizer that have no secondary outputs, that shouldn't matter. But silver is giving me lead as a secondary output, but that's okay because the lead can go that way and get cooked, so that's fine. So once it's finished processing all the silver, the lead will eventually move across. So that's one of the reasons why I brought the upgrades. I've got 2 upgrade slots for these. So we've got, was that the gearbox overclocked, secondary reception, shift, processing speed, level 1, that's it. So that goes in to speed it up, that goes in to speed it up even more. So now it should be able to take care of the secondary as well fairly quickly. So it'll process fast and it should be pushing that across, but I guess because it's already in there once, it's not going to do it again. So the next time we get it in there, it'll probably try and push it across. If we do it like that, that'll get rid of it. There we go. And then that goes through, and then those will start going through. And in theory, it should keep up with the secondary output as well, because we've given it the upgrades. Same with this one. I decided I'd make 2 of them so I could give them both the augmentations to upgrade their speed to get through this faster. Because pulverizing, you get 1 in, you get 2 out. So then the furnace is having to work twice as fast as the pulverizer. And at the moment it's working 3 times as fast, which is good because of the secondary output. Yes, all makes total sense, yeah? Complete and utter total sense. Alright, well, let's move on to the next little thing that I want to do this episode. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I've got prepared over here that I want to deal with. Matter condenser. A matter condenser for applied energistics is basically a rubbish bin for applied energistics, but it's a rubbish bin with a purpose. I'm going to take one of those. I'll place the block down here so we can see it, but this isn't where its final resting place is going to be. Matter condenser is basically rubbishing mode. I can destroy items by pumping items into the matter condenser just by using an export bus. That's why I've made some capacity cards for the 2 export buses. So I can tell the AE system what to junk, basically. So I could junk it, but I can also change it to matter balls, which you can fire from a matter cannon. I've not been a big fan of matter cannons. There we go. They're okay, but, well, they're okay as a ranged weapon, but they're not great. And then there's this ME condenser, which is a singularity. And a singularity is what we're actually after. So I'm going to void off things, but make a singularity at the same time. Which means I need a cell in here to store all the information, which then transfers it to become a singularity. And that just happens to be one of these 64K storage components, which I've just waited around a few minutes while chatting to the supporters club about Christmas stuff and things, while it's been crafting up over here steadily, slowly but surely. But now we've got to go all the way back over to base and set it up. Okay, so back over here, everything is processing slowly but surely. It's getting through a backlog. I've got such a big backlog at the minute that when I log out, it will just process it all for me while I'm offline, because we've got this little area chunk loaded, and then it will keep up with future quarries. I don't have a quarry running at the moment, and to be honest, I think I'll probably do a few more upgrades and changes on this and maybe get a few other setups done. But I'll show you those in a future episode as and when I get around to changing them and doing them. Right now, though, I've got another little thing that I'm going to do with this matter condenser. So I'm going to show you how it works. I'll put it down just anywhere for now and place 2 export buses on. I'm going to place one that side, and I guess I'll place one this side. There we go. So these are exporting items. And I'm going to put the 2 upgrades in, so I've got 9 items per output, as it were. Okay, and it refuses to output anything unless I specify what's supposed to be exported there. So I'm good to connect it to the system for starters, right? And make sure that it is actually fully connected to the system. The lights have changed. That's good. Now I've got to put this in there. And this is a progress bar of energy stored. So 256,000 items have to go into here in order to make the singularity. That's quite a bit indeed. So I'm going to think about what comes from these areas that does not need to be in any of these sections. So the first thing that I wanted to do, right, is take... what, have I got my club? I haven't got my club hammer. Let's see, is it in here? I think it's in here. No. Where did I put the storage hammer? There it is. It's the barrel hammer. There we go. Alright, so first up. These have all got void upgrades, okay? Void upgrades. And with a void upgrade, it's basically taking the items and deleting them. So when I've got a full amount of that... Let me take that off. There we go. I'll take the void upgrade off it, and then any excess stock that is netherrack, let's take one netherrack out, any excess stock will not go into that barrel. It will go up and over, have nowhere to go in there, so go up and over again, come into this system, have nowhere to go, so it'll come up and over here, and then I can have it so that it automatically goes into that export bus, which means that all of the netherrack that is in the system at the minute, if I've got that much netherrack, yeah, there we go, will get put into the condenser, the matter condenser, and be got rid of. Slowly but surely, it seems there. Look, it's going one by one. I think that's just a matter of it takes a little bit of time. Yeah, it's going one by one very slowly, so maybe I need to do some speed upgrades on there. I've got space for 2 more upgrades, so it may as well be 2 acceleration cards going into there. But that's like the ideal for these sections, which I'll work on a little bit more in the future. The only thing that I haven't got is this marble that is not voided off, because I'm building Silicon Valley out of marble. So already that's been transferring over, and it ended up into that system there. Eventually, though, this will be voiding off all of the rubbish that I don't want, and then sending all the extra excess stock out over here. What I want to do first, though, in that section over there, for instance, is put the wood and have at least a stack of a wood in a chest. In a similar way to I do the saplings here for the farm, I want to put a stack of wood and a stack of apples and a stack of rubber into an ender chest, and that's the section that I'm going to do it in. And then the excess stock, instead of voiding it all off, the excess stock that's been mounting up in here, look at all this oak wood and look at all this oak saplings, can go into being destroyed. So I can put that into here as well. Let's put that into that one, for instance. There we go. So now that will add up as well. So we'll start deleting all of those saplings as well, you see. Okay, and it'll take a long time, but once I've got the acceleration cards in there, it should be okay. So I'll throw those into there. Also, I could get rid of cobblestone, because I've got a lot of cobblestone. And I can easily make a cobble gen anywhere that I go. This hardened dirt is another one that I occasionally get quite a lot of, and I don't really want. What else have I got lots of that I don't want? These bricks, for instance. Yeah, all of these bricks. I don't want any of this coloured brick stuff that I've been picking up from that deep dark place. Stone, again, I can make stone. I've used a bit of it, but I don't really want any of it, so I'm just going to scrap it. This coloured wood, I can kind of use it for stuff. I think we can make like chests out of it, and we can use it like normal wood. But I'll go through a stage of just like deleting it all and getting rid of the whole caboodle of them in this manner, and make something more useful to me using this matter condenser process. So let's put that on, that on, that on, that on, that on, that on, and that on, and that on, and that can now start processing all of that business. It's going up fairly rapidly now because there's several items in there, I'm guessing. And this one will do some other bits and pieces. But this is okay for clearing them out for now and keeping them clear when I'm doing the quarrying. The stuff I definitely don't really need in my AE system can be put to better use and being condensed into other matter and making that singularity for me. And there's going to be plenty of other things that I want to get rid of that I can just add into that same setup and clear the system out before I send all of the other items on to Silicon Valley. But I think that is all I've got time for today. Thank you all very, very much for watching. Thank you very much to the Supporters Club for watching all the extra bits. I hope I've entertained you. If you want to go and check out the Supporters Club, there is a link on the far bottom left right now. And I will see you in the next episode on the Hypermine Infinity Evolved server. And I think I've got something planned for the next episode to do something with somebody else on the server. So that should be interesting. Thank you very much for watching, and tune in next time. Goodbye.